Welcome to the Make Me Whole podcast. I'm your host, Josette Rosado, and it's time to talk getting past what's difficult, trusting our own abilities to do more, and keeping it that way. And what it seems like almost 30 years ago, I can't believe that, I actually had a very close relationship with a guy that I was dating for about 4 years. And believe me, I was shook. I thought this was the beginning, the end, the everything of my life. And I dedicated a lot of time and energy to the relationship, as did he. And when it was time to break up, after 4 years of being around each other all the time, celebrating successes such as graduating from high school and college, the hardest thing was not knowing what to expect next. I wish I would have had someone to give me advice, to tell me that I would soon meet my husband, that I would have children, that I would have the life and love that I deserved. Because in that moment, when the relationship was over, I felt that I would never recover. Emotions, they can be really complicated when a relationship ends. There are so many different reactions to breakups. You might go through grief, maybe even relief, confusion, disappointment. Even if the relationship ends on a good note, you might still feel like you have a lot of feelings. So I thought I'd come up with some tips to help those of you who need to start the process of moving on from a breakup. And just keep in mind, you are going to get through it, even though right now it may not seem like it'll be easy. Okay, so we've got to establish boundaries because it may be easy to stay away from talking to an ex-partner, but it might be hard to not run into them or find yourself in the same town, same workplace, same school. Setting up clear boundaries is going to help make that process a little easier. First of all, you got to take some time apart. One of the most important things you can do with a former partner is take some time from either social activities together, calling or texting. Maybe wait a couple of months before getting back in touch with them. It'll give you the time that you need to focus on yourself and avoid running back to what might be a harmful relationship. How about respecting each other's needs? Listen, if you're still friends with your former partner, but they don't want to be with you, then you need to respect that. This definitely could be hard to do, but it's important to remember that not respecting them will more than likely hurt the relationship, the friendship that you have with one another. If they start reaching out to you, which sometimes can happen, especially before you're ready to talk, don't feel like you have to respond. You might not be able to express your feelings, and they might have others that you're not ready to deal with. You and your ex need that time apart to process your feelings and come to terms with the end of the relationship as you know it to be. You have to maintain some physical and definitely emotional distance. Remember, if you're friends with your former partner, you're going to have to redefine what that relationship looks like. And sometimes you might have to let go. See, because that just friends thing doesn't always work. Something you might want to do beforehand is talk about how you're going to react to one another if and when you do run into each other, especially if you work in the same place or go to the same school or have the same set of friends. It can be really unnerving to run into your ex unexpectedly and without preparation as to how you're going to interact with each other. It could be so awkward. You also have to consider that if you're not ready to talk to or see your ex, you are under no obligation to maintain any type of friendship. In that same spirit, you do have to take care of yourself. I mean, after you've got those boundary sets, you really have to start on focusing on that relationship that you've not had with yourself in all that time. Maybe create a daily self care routine, maybe doing something that brings you joy every single day. It could be something as simple as taking a break from your busy schedule or getting a new hobby. It can also be as significant as taking the time to spend with people who lift you up. Getting enough sleep is also really important, but try to avoid getting too much. This can make you feel tired and, of course, make you feel like you have no energy. Remember, this is the time that you can take advantage of doing those things that you usually wouldn't indulge in, like having comfort food or drinking lots of wine or having those Netflix binges. It is important, however, to remember that these kinds of indulgences will eventually become regular habits, so you got to be careful. If you're planning on saving these for special occasions, try giving yourself a week to cut down on what you're doing. And what about that gloomy mood? Well, some ways to improve it might be opening your curtains and letting natural light get in, getting some sun, letting your favorite products do the talking. You can also burn a candle with some citrus, some fresh scents. Maybe you're into writing and you can write about how you need time to get back to yourself before you can start thinking about any other relationships. A big thing now, and I'm so glad that I didn't have to deal with this way back then when I had my breakup, is social media. One of the most unexpected aspects of these kinds of breakups in social media is that it's not always easy to set boundaries when it comes to using it. Social media can create an environment where people can easily access like these situations of passive aggressive behavior or unhealthy fixations. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is take a break from social media. It's going to allow you to avoid souring yourself by posting about your ex or sharing pictures of seemingly perfect couples. And if you're still using social media after the breakup, use it only to connect to your family and friends. You should never, ever, 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 ever post about your breakup on social media. It's not the place to talk about how you're feeling about your ex. It's important to keep your social media interactions really private. And especially if you're angry with your ex, you might want to share the truth about the situation, but you should avoid posting it on social media at all costs. If you're still friends with your ex, then it's probably a good idea to avoid checking their pages. You might read something that you're not ready to read and or starting to create stories about vague messages that you read on their updates. Now, what if you have mutual friends? Well, they're going to want to know what happened, right? But it's probably best to keep the details of your relationship private. If your friends hear the wrong version of the story, then they're going to go run with it and try to share it, and it's just going to screw everything up. Try to avoid being too emotional with them and offer facts as opposed to fiction. Some friends probably will have conflict when it comes to who they want to side with. You can't force your friends to keep their relationship with you, but you can avoid being really negative about what happened with your ex. You can also avoid gossip and playing into drama by not saying anything negative about them. And it's okay to ask for help. Getting a break from a relationship can be rough, and friends and family can help you feel less alone. If you're struggling with breaking from a relationship, then you might want to consider seeking professional help. I'm always good with saying that. Of course, therapists can help you identify triggers that cause the breakup and develop effective coping strategies. It's important that you seek help if you're experiencing feelings of depression and anxiety, and especially if you feel like you want to contact your ex regularly. Look, getting through a breakup from a relationship can be really hard, like I said, and it might take some time to get back to normal. But you have to remember that it will get better as time goes on. And for all of you who have survived a relationship breakup or are just on the cusp of getting through it, I salute you. It's not an easy thing to do. I hated how I felt when I ended my relationship, but a good friendship came out of it, a respect for myself came out of it, and an understanding that I was meant for so much more. I hope you'll feel the same. I'm so glad I got to talk about that. That is a topic I've been wanting to bring up for a really long time. Thank you so much for listening today. I had a great time, and I hope you did too. Please be sure to reach out. You can email me at makemewhole@bossesofbliss.com. On Facebook and Instagram, you can reach me at Bosses of Bliss. And on TikTok, you can reach us at Blissful Boss. Remember, complain less and do more. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.